super shy guy, it's Louie Spence. Up for a laugh, it's Joe Lycett. And their team captain, Sean Locke. And facing them tonight, go figure, it's Rachel Riley. OMG, it's D.O.D., David O'Doherty. And their team captain, John Richardson. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 9 out of 10 children visit McDonald's once a month? What's that thing that all the kids get in McDonald's? Oh yeah, fat. 68% of men start conversations with strangers while queuing for the toilet. I wish people would just mind their P's and queue. And 27% of people keep a weapon by the bed to protect themselves against intruders. I don't have a weapon. Instead, I sleep in stockings and suspenders. Then if I'm burgled, I just throw back the covers and say, what kept you? Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Sean's team, what do you think the nation should be talking about over the last week?
Well,
What do you think?
well, there's that one big story that's been knocking about for a few weeks now.
I think I might know the one you mean.
It's the Jimmy Savile scandal.
Oh.
Particularly, that's been in front of virtually every newspaper. So you read the story about these horrendous things he's done. I mean, there's stories now emerging of necrophilia. And you think, I remember hearing that story years ago, and you're thinking, when you're using necrophilia as a smokescreen, something must be wrong. How does a hospital, who the hell runs a hospital that lets someone, let him have a key to the mortuary, that's fine. Oh, he wants to go in the mortuary. No, he does a lot of stuff for the hospital. Let him have a key to the mortuary.
I mean, I was disgusted. I've handed back my key.
The spokesperson...
You know that noise? You can probably do it, John. You know that noise that Savile used to make? What was that weird...
I've sort of retired that impression. John Simpson this week said, it's the biggest scandal at the BBC for 50 years. But yeah, no shit. And the hideous thing is the number of people who knew about it and didn't do anything. Like, usually when something like this happens, people go, oh, well, you seem like such a lovely bloke. But when this happened, everyone went, oh, yeah, he's a sex-offending necromancer. I thought that went without saying. And now he's dead. He's never going to... People just aren't... In this world, you live in the world of Miss Marple and Midsummer Murders, where a bad thing happens and then a bungling old biddy sorts it out at the end. People's brains just... I cannot cope with living in a world where people just go, oh, yeah, he did it for years, and now he's dead, so he got away with it.
Well, it's grim, so let's not dwell on it, but let's see if it's one of the most talked about things over the last week. Yes, the Jimmy Savile paedophile scandal continues. Jimmy Savile was still working into his 80s. People used to call him a coffin dodger. Little did they know. OK, what else? There must be something more upbeat we could talk about. What else have people been talking about?
Another Bond movie?
Yeah!
Another one.
You don't sound excited.
Well, we've got Homeland now. We don't need Bond anymore.
You've got Homeland, we don't need Bond?
Yeah. Homeland's way better than the Bond
What?
movies.
What are you saying?
I don't know. I went to see one. I went to see Casino Royale because they build it as it's nothing like a Bond film. It's totally different. And it was just another Bond film.
What was a Bond film?
Yeah, I know.
If your issue with a Bond film is it's just a Bond film.
These ones, it's darker and grittier. Oh. It'd be darker if he had to get Ryanair flights everywhere. Bond kneeling beside the check-in desk, stuffing underwear in his pockets.
Judi Dench for the premiere had 007 in Diamantes on her neck. And not a lot of people know she had a vajazzle. That's how you could hear her coming. She was sort of crunching down the road.
Well, thanks for putting that image in my head.
My tip for a film, if you're making a film and you get a theme tune, get someone to sing the theme tune who can pronounce some of the words that are in the theme tune.
What's your issue with the theme tune?
She cannot speak.
Is this Adele? Lovely Adele. I won't have a word said against her.
Adele, or as I'm sure she says it, Adele. The first 3 times I heard it, I thought it was a song about scaffold. Scaffold.
I like the fact that Adele sung the theme tune. I like it. You know, the opening titles of Bond you always see through the barrel of a gun. I now imagine it's a tube of Pringles.
Oh. Poor Adele, if you're watching, put those down.
She's making such an effort to seem really working class, isn't she? Like, oh, I'm like really down to earth.
I don't think she's making an effort. I think that comes naturally, but go on.
I want to see her really making it. Like, I want to see her push the pram down the red carpet, like with a cigarette. Shut up, Sharon, like that. That's what I want to see.
I put forward a Bond theme and they didn't go for it.
Well, that's a shame. What was yours?
Bond on a bike, Bond on a boat. Bond with his hands around a villain's throat. Skyfall, Skyfall. Skyfall, Skyfall. Da 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 da. Hey!
Is that the best dance routine, do you think, Louie?
Well, that's playing the
I
piano.
quite like that, and I would have put a head roll at the end.
Let's try it again.
Bond on a bike, Bond on a bike, Bond on a man around it. Wait, then.
Well, so let's have a look and see if Bond is up there. Yes, the new James Bond film, Skyfall, was released last Friday. In the next Bond film, Daniel Craig will face his ultimate nemesis, a younger, cheaper actor. Sean's team, what do you think people have been talking about over the last week?
Is it Strictly Come Dancing is back on our screens and lighting up Saturday night. A whole nation of people.
I like Strictly, it's fine, but can we just get Brucey off it now before something horrendous happens? It's not getting any better, is it? I don't want to see him go in the middle of a live show.
Before, though.
Exactly. Let's put him in a home somewhere. He's going to do the Children in Need special, that's fine. He'll come back for that. And now we finally know why Pudsey wears an eye patch, so he can't see half of what goes on at the BBC.
I should do it. I should host it.
What,
Strictly
Strictly?
Come Dancing, I can't say it, but I could host it.
How come you're not one of the judges? You'd make an excellent judge on that.
Because they've already got their judge. I would be an excellent judge, yeah, you're right. I would, I'd be fucking great. I'm on the ice, you know.
You're on the ice.
I do the ice.
You can't judge ice and the dancing, here,
Well,
Jimmy.
I could...
How about have an exhauster man?
I could do that.
You couldn't judge
I
the
could do-
dancing and the icing. No, it would
Yes,
just
I
you'd be
can.
empty. You'd have nothing left to give.
Yes, I
Louie.
would. I've always got something
You
to
couldn't
give.
judge what it takes from you to judge the people on the ice, how it sucks from your very marrow, and then to ask you to judge the dancing too. It's too much to ask of one man.
I could do
It's not
it.
right. No, you
I
can't.
could, and I could
It's
do
not
Britain's Got
fair
Talent,
to
and I could do whatever
push
you
you
want.
to those limits.
You can push me where you want.
Strictly, isn't it just for, like, old people to remember what they did on a Saturday night? Like, oh, we used to go dancing, isn't it? Like, when I'm old, it'd be Strictly come fighting outside the kebab shop, right?
Would you ever consider going on it, Rachel? Would you?
I
imagine
would
they are,
suck.
don't they?
I had my
Would you?
Well, I think you'd probably get through.
I did do 1 hour with a Strictly Come Dancing ex-pro before our wedding.
Did you? What, you thought I'd treat myself before I met this
No, my
commitment?
husband made me. It wasn't anything to do with
Oh,
me.
to learn to dance. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. David, do you watch Strictly Come Dancing?
I am just missing the part of the brain that cares.
Let's have a look and see if Strictly's up there. Yeah, Strictly Come Dancing is heating up. Lisa Riley blew everyone away last week. Well, she shouldn't have had that 3-bean casserole for lunch. John, David, Rachel, what else have the nation been talking about over the last week?
We're getting a new labelling system for food. It's basically saying, oh, poor people are stupid. They go into a supermarket and they pick up Haribo Tang Fastics and they think it's fruit. People know know what shit food is? The reason they eat shit food is because they work all day in an office with people they hate. They're working in a job that they're told every day they're going to lose, and then they go back to a shitty flat that they can't afford to buy. And do you know what they think? I don't fancy couscous for tea. Do you know what I fancy? A mixing bowl full of Viennetta and chips that I eat with my fist.
John, what happened there? It was quite a depressing thought, and then at the end, you pulled it back with Viennetta and chips, and everyone went, oh.
Shit food is the only joy some people get. And it's cheap as well. People don't shop. They don't buy bad food. They buy bad food because it's cheaper. They just go, oh, shitty pie, £1. Lovely. That'll make me feel temporarily less alone. And it doesn't make any... There's a reason they call it a traffic light system. It's because it's the same as traffic lights on the roads. If it's amber or red, you just do it faster and hope no one sees you.
It's just confusing, because the traffic light thing for me, I only think of them as, like, you know, the traffic light parties where green means you're up for it. And I accidentally fucked a chicken wrap.
I'm not familiar with the traffic light party. And what happens?
You wear a green shirt if you're up for it, amber if you're not sure, and red if you're definitely out. I've always been an amber gambler.
Nice. So do you watch the calories? Do you watch what you eat?
No, I just exercise, so I don't get fat. But the thing is now when people go shopping, innit, you're going to be looking in their basket, and if they're full of red and they're fat, you are going to think you're greedy fat fucker. And then if they're, you know, if they're sort of going in between, they've got a bit of amber and a bit of green, you're like, well, give them a go. Do you know what I mean? If they're all green, then you know they're gay or in PR.
You cannot imply that only gay people eat vegetables.
No, but we'd have a lot of green.
Have you seen that programme on Channel 4, The Food Hospital?
The food hospital?
People that are sick go there and they get cures with different diets and stuff, but it's really good for making you eat healthily or just not eat. Because it's on at like 8 o'clock. So the last couple of times we've been eating and it's on, and they're doing this fibre challenge and they keep showing you different pictures of poo, like while you're trying to eat.
So you're saying your dieting tip is look at pictures of poo
while
you're eating?
It puts you off your food.
I think you want to go with a guy who's got more than one channel on his television. You come round my house, we'll watch the football, we'll stick the Simpsons on, I got DVDs. I've got the whole works. If you don't like watching shit while you eat, well, I'm your man.
And that is the worst proposition that's ever been made. That's not one of the most talked about things over the last week. But the government have announced a new food labelling system to promote healthy eating. Supermarket food is already labelled when it's high in fat, full of salt and has poor nutritional value. And those labels say Iceland. OK, fingers on buzzers, 2 more things still to get. What do you think, Sean?
Britain is finally out of double-dip recession. The recession is over. Out of recession. And boy, does that make me feel good. Yeah. It's one of those bits of news, you know, those bits of information you get, and you really think this doesn't really make any difference to people's everyday lives. It makes no difference. It's something that the press and the government are obsessed with. It really doesn't it? It's a bit like the pollen count. You know, you do the pollen count, you're thinking, why? Nobody makes a decision based on the pollen count. Nobody's ever gone, oh, we've cancelled the wedding. Well, it's going to be very high pollen count on that day. And we can't face it. We just can't do it. It's one of those pieces of information, you know, you go, well, you know...
Yeah, GDP has grown by 1% in the 3rd quarter of this year.
Most people don't even know what GDP is.
What?
Do you know what GDP is?
Oh, sure.
What is it?
Well, gross domestic product.
Yeah, but what is that? What is...
Well, the gross domestic product.
Yeah, what is...
It's like the things that we make in houses that are disgusting.
It is a coincidence, isn't it, that someone started paying tax again and the country's out of recession.
You're welcome.
The worst thing about the recession is I read this week, Argos is closing stores and they're going digital. No more Argos catalogues. What am I supposed to do in the toilet? There's no Argos catalogue to play the Argos game where you flick through and you go, treadmill.
The joy for me with Argos was that it's like a shop, but much more like a bookies. in that you study the form and you're like, I'm going to take a punt on that. Turn on that, please. They go over to the big screen. You're like, come on, 167.
Joe, you please wear a recession?
Yeah. The thing is that they said that the Olympics, because it's a big, obviously to do with the Olympics, but the Olympics was about £300 million under budget. I've worked out that is roughly a fiver for everybody. So if they gave us all a fiver, that's a Boots meal deal, isn't it? So, I love a Boots meal deal.
If you're going to get yourself a meal deal, for heaven's sake, get an innocent smoothie. Because, I mean, that's the price of the meal deal alone. So exactly. Your sandwich and your crisps are free.
I hate innocent. I hate their ads. I hate when you read the side of the innocent smoothie. They're majority owned by Coca-Cola, and you read the side of it, and it's like, we found a bucket of fruit on our farm, and a cow said it was yummy. Headquarters is probably like smokestacks in a forest with men with top hats pointing at pictures of third world countries.
And it's called innocent smoothie.
No, you've fallen for the oldest trick in the book. Give it a nice name.
It's probably like people making those smoothies are being lashed, going, squash more fruit!
OK, let's see if Britain coming out of recession is one of the top 5 talking points. Yes, it's been revealed Britain's finally come out of the double-dip recession. To put this news into perspective, if the economy was your granddad, he's come out of his coma, but I wouldn't buy him a Christmas present just yet. OK, figures are buzzers. One more thing to get. What do you think, Sean?
Is it the new iPad mini? They've released a new iPad that's not an iPhone, it's not an iPad, somewhere in between. An iPad mini, little iPad.
It's like only 7 inches. Or something like that. What's the point?
What do you mean, only 7 inches?
I mean, you've got your phone and you've got your pad. Why do you want something just in between?
Well, it's like brunch, isn't it?
I really want one. They could release anything, and I really want to buy it. They could, release, I don't know, the eye infection, and I want it.
David, are you going to get one?
I got an iPad, and the slogan should be like a shit computer. Because my computer does everything better than it. So the only possible use for an iPad then would be as a very luxurious chopping board. And then maybe you could have a comedy playing to counteract the onion crying. Would balance out. Either that, or maybe I'll get 6 of them and tile my hole with them. And then when I go to answer the front door, be like Michael Jackson and Billie Jean.
Rachel, are you going to get one of these?
Well, I had this debate with my husband a little while ago, but I still don't see the point of that, because once you've got one size and the other size, then it doesn't do anything extra, does it? But I get his cast off, so whenever he buys the new one, I get the old one. So I might encourage him to get one.
You get the old one once he's finished with it?
Yeah. I'm quite happy
You're
with it.
earning, aren't you? You can...
You know, do I need another one of a different size, or do I want to buy a pair of shoes? It's a bit of a no-brainer.
We're still talking about the iPad or your husband?
Still
If you need a smaller one, I'm willing to step in.
Let's have a look and see whether the iPad mini is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, indeed. Apple have announced the release of the new iPad mini. Experts think the iPad mini will be the most popular gift this Christmas. So if you work in a Chinese sweatshop, that tea break might just have to wait. So those were the most talked about things this week. But in other news, Conservative Chief Whip Andrew Mitchell has resigned after being accused of calling police officers plebs. People say pleb is the worst thing he could have called a policeman. Of course, they've forgotten about scum, peeler, plod, pig, bacon, rozza, 5-0, filth, dibble, busy, fuzz, tithead and And a Brazilian student has sold her virginity this week for £500,000. I'm not a prostitute, said the 20-year-old Brazilian prostitute. At the end of that round, Sean, Joe and Louie have 4 points. John, Rachel and David have 1 point. 1 point. That's it for part 1. See you after the break. to 8 out of 10 cats. Our next round is Pick of the Polls. John, Rachel, David, your turn first. What do you like the look of?
Can we go for the pumpkin one?
Pumpkin. OK, well, it's Halloween on Wednesday, so we asked our studio audience, are you looking forward to Halloween, yes or no? What do you think?
Oh, it's a Wednesday this year as well, so you can't even have a party, really.
Why can't you have a party on a Wednesday?
You could, but it wouldn't be a very good one.
You ain't never been to one of my Wednesday parties.
Stay in and watch Crime Watch. Ooh, yeah.
I went as Uma Thurman, the Kill Bill outfit one year, but it was just a plastic jumpsuit and it's the hottest thing. It was horrible.
That is the hottest thing I've ever heard. Do you ever dress up?
Yeah?
What's your... Name one of your costumes.
Oh, not for Halloween. That's my Tuesday parties. I dress up like a chef sometimes when I'm cooking tea. Because I've got my old chef's outfits.
John's confusing sitting at home on his own with a dinner, with a party. That's what John thinks a party is, having some food and a drink.
I'm interested in this when you dress up as a chef. I mean, is that just to cook your tea?
Yeah.
Just dressing up like
What do you
Gina
put on the
DeCampo.
full...
I've got the check pants and the white thing and the apron and a little hat. And sometimes I think, do you know what? I'm going to be in here all day. Just get a bottle of wine out.
All day doing Finder's crispy pancakes? It takes half an hour.
My only fear is dying in the middle of it and getting found. Because obviously that would look ridiculous.
If someone came to the door.
Never happened.
Louis, do you get dressed up on Halloween?
I have.
What was your finest hour?
I think my pussy. I've got...
A cat costume? Well, because, of course, you
Yeah,
were
'cause I
in...
was in Cats, so I have the original magical Mr. Mistopheles, so I slip him on and he's...
You didn't go dressed as a pussy because that's terrifying to you?
I was very surprised by it. It sort of seemed to appear suddenly about 10 years ago, this excitement about Halloween. I grew up, there was no even mention of it. You know,
it was just
basically
regular...
There were satanic rituals that we go to, and
Well, satanic rituals and then...
animals and the youngest boy child of the village. But we wouldn't call it Halloween in those days. They were very much about our Lord Satan and thanking him for a year of evil. But suddenly, thank you, brethren. I'll see you at the next lodge meeting. I'll be wearing the golden hooves.
So how do you deal with trick-or-treaters, then? Do people come to your... Do they not come and knock on the door?
They
and
do
get a
come and knock
cheery,
on the
lovely
door.
face?
Yeah, give them sweets, yeah. Give them sweets. The weird thing is, you have a bowl of sweets and some kids just go... and that's when you have to show them bad, Sean.
I like it now that, because you get cream eggs and then they start calling them scream eggs. That means it's time for Halloween. But there's no other ones you can do. I've written to all the chocolate companies. The only one I've come up with is Boost.
I love it. OK, so let's get some answers. What do you think? Do you think this audience are looking forward to Halloween?
I don't think people give a rat's ass, Jimmy. No.
OK. What do you think? Do you think people are looking forward to it, our audience?
Yes.
Yes, OK. I can tell you the answer is yes. 63% of our audience are looking forward to Halloween. David Beckham's going to get a huge shock this Halloween. He's going to wake up next to a skeleton. Sean, Joe, Louis, what do you like the look of?
The woman.
OK, so here's your related question. Most people love being the centre of attention, true or false?
False. Who would want to be centre of attention? I mean, really? I mean, of all the people you know, Sean, who would want to be centre of attentione?
Sit still, Louis.
I don't mean to draw attention to myself or anything. I mean, really! I like to be centre of attention or anything.
OK.
I don't think he can get up now.
Luckily, I've got early onset Alzheimer's. What was the question, Jimmy?
Most people love being the centre of attention, true or false?
I think most people don't like it, do they? Most people don't like it. That's why they've got pricks like us to take that space.
Would you like being the
We'd obviously like to be the centre of attention.
Sure.
That's why we're sitting here with the lights on us. We're mic'd up. I've got my special shirt on. Jimmy's lost all that fat round his throat.
What about you, Joe? Do you enjoy the limelight?
Yes and no, because there's good attention and bad attention, isn't there? But I was going into Lidl, I love Lidl, and this old lady came out with her husband, and she looked at me for like about 10 seconds, which was a bit too long. And then, so I was like, oh, I'm being recognised. And then after 10 seconds, she turned to her husband and went, we forgot to buy faggots.
The only time I got papped was in Lidl.
Really?
Yeah.
You got papped in Lidl.
Yep. Just been to the gym, and I was in gym stuff, and they followed us to the gym, and then we just went to Lidl, bought some ham and smoked salmon, and then went home.
Bah, you have the time, don't you, now you're married? Should we go to the gym and then get some ham? Yeah, I think so. This is why I can't keep a girlfriend. I'll take them to the gym, but then I just tend to go back. I didn't know about the ham move.
I had it last week in Brighton. Person with camera taking photographs, sitting outside a pub for ages, took loads and loads of photographs. And then I went over and said, here, I'm trying to have a drink with my friends. And the guy went, well, it's just that I love you in the IT crowd, and my wife loves you in Bridesmaids. Which is a completely different Irish person called Chris O'Dowd. So...
How many of you are there?
Just the two, and we come over here. One has to look after Ireland, and then the other... Oh! Pumpkinder surprise. Boom!
Oh, what do you think, John? Do you like being the centre of attention?
I like to be the centre of attention.
That is different.
Go to people's house parties and just spread shit. Get the woman on her own in the kitchen and just go, I've been talking to Mark, he says it's not going very well. I think you should go and have a word with him about it in front of everyone. Down the wine first, finish your wine, love, then get in there and have it out with him. That sort of thing I like, just standing back going, I did this, all this.
We'll get some answers on this. Most people love being the centre of attention, true or false? What are you going to go for?
I'd say no, false.
You say false. What are you guys going to go with?
False.
You going false? Well, I can tell you the answer is false. Only 26% of people love being the centre of attention. Both go right. Personally, I find it annoying when people always want to be the centre of attention. Oh, look at me. Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, call an ambulance. Can we not just talk about me for a bit? If you really do crave being the centre of attention, I can recommend a very good accountant. So at the end of that round, it's 6 points for Sean's team and 2 points for John's team. That's it for part two. See you after the break. Welcome back to 8 out of 10 Cats. And the winner is the name of our final round. Here is your question. Best way to start a conversation in a bar?
Is that a gun in your pocket, or is your penis shaped like a gun?
We go to the same bar.
But if I wanted to chat in a bar, I would take a friend whose opinions I respected. I wouldn't sidle up to
I
an
can see the flaw
alcoholic.
in that plan. John, imagine you were in a bar with Rachel. How would you start a conversation?
Where'd you get all those bags of ham? I can't believe we're finally talking. I've been following you for fucking years.
What are you doing there, out of interest?
Just driving an old-fashioned tram. Forklift. John's in a forklift. She's in Lidl. He's stacking the shelves in Lidl.
So, Rachel, presumably before you got married, you were in bars picking up dudes. How would you...
I always talk to people with dogs. Because if you want to cuddle the dog, you generally have to ask, don't you?
It's amazing how much people will talk to you if you throw beer in a dog's face.
We'll talk quite loud.
If you just throw a pint of beer in a dog's face, people start talking to you. First they say, what's it doing?
And then you say conversation starter.
Yeah. Fancy the chat. And they say, fancy the chat. And I think there's something wrong with the taps in here. Barman, you need to change the barrel. And then you're off, everybody's chatting.
Shall we call the police? Shall we get help?
Usually the conversation is, I'm blind and now my dog is drunk. Brilliant.
Yeah. If you're talking about something and you say, you mention, like, their mother and they go, my mother's dead, you go, oh, just... beer in the dog's face.
And then that's forgone. The awkwardness over the mother, that's forgone. Why did you put the beer in a dog's face?
You talk about something really awkward, just go... Or you just... I lie, I tell lies. I'll go at someone and go, I wrote the Birdie song. Not all of it, I didn't write all of it. I got stuck on diddle-diddle. I got this guy in, this top songwriter in. He used to work with all the greats, and he came up with a do bit. So I gave him 40%. And then, within a minute, everyone's chatting, and you get bored, you throw a beer in a dog's face.
OK, best way to start a conversation in a bar?
You buy them a drink.
Well, offer to buy a drink is number 2.
What are the other things
Are you
people
on
say?
your own?
What's number 5?
OK, so...
Tell me number 5, Jimmy!
Ask to borrow a lighter. Good way to start a conversation.
Can I borrow your lighter?
Yeah, not like that, Sean.
But there's loud music playing in the pub. I have to shout. Bloody loud music in here. Can I borrow your lighter? I said lighter, you stupid prick!
I'll give you a clue. It would make them feel good.
You look lovely.
That is the right answer. Well, yes, the best way to start a conversation in a bar is to pay someone a compliment. Also on the list is buy a bottle of champagne, which for viewers in Scotland is a kind of sparkling wine made from grapes. They're a type of fruit. It's a type of food. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are John, Rachel and David have 2 points, Sean, Joe and Louie have 7 points. They're tonight's winners.
Wait, I've got another one.
David O'Doherty, ladies and gentlemen.
Scaro.
Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.